Yay! Okay, we are recording. It is Team Call Thursdays, and today we're going to be talking about handling objections. And before we get into what we're talking about and stuff, I just wanted to share some announcements, go over a few things because things have been changing. So now Team Calls are meeting on Thursdays at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, which is 7:30 Eastern Standard Time and 6:30 Central Time. And I know there's other areas, but those are just the three main ones that I usually put on. And it's always going to be this Zoom and the same password. So if you have a sticky note on your computer, if you have a Mac, you can actually, they have like virtual sticky notes, or you can just keep it in the notes of your phone or wherever is most convenient for you, so that you can. And also, if you do know or are familiar, Zoom has a little arrow by whenever you log in by the IDs, and it should save to that spot as well. So you should be able to also find it. And sometimes I log on to too many and it erases its history. So sometimes there is that as well. But so basically tonight what we're going to be talking about, and we're also going to be doing some role playing, because I think that I know that taking action and role playing and really utilizing what you learn right away is so valuable. And when I learned this was when I went through a course called Guide Culture, which you probably all hear about, and Crystal is always like, I get it, like I know I need to take it. And what this really means for you is feeling confident in what you're talking about, so you know how to handle objections. And I hope tonight you have a different mindset when you get off of this call of objections and are excited when someone comes to you with a concern or with an objection or something, because let's be honest, we all have objections in life. Whenever you're going to look for something or invest in something, there's always going to be something that you have a question, and it just doesn't have to be this negative. Because I think sometimes when we hear objection, we always think about a judge, like I object, or like, you know, you see on movies like people objecting weddings or whatever. It can be like this negative term, and we want to help you see it as a positive and help you know how to guide other people and guide yourself through objections, because you might have objections on this business, and maybe these are objections that you have that you're not really aware of. So I hope as well tonight you're kind of aware of those and you'll work through those. So first I want to share some wins, so anyone can unmute. If you have any wins you would like to share, we'll take like 2, 3, or if we just have one, that's fine.
I have one.
Okay, share.
Okay, so today I'm literally in like this room. Okay, this is like my little office room right now. And I was sitting there like just trying to make connections with new people. And my babysitter texted me as my son was sleeping. She's like out in the living room, and she sends me a picture of a completion pack, and she starts asking me questions. And we literally go through like a whole conversation. She presented me with objections and all kinds of stuff. And I started like handling it, asking more questions, figuring out like why she was actually scared to like move forward and blah, blah, blah. Long story short, she invested in a completion pack today, and she's like all excited and everything. I don't know. It's like with supplements, like with performance and MBF and all this stuff. So I was just like, wow, okay, I got in like the practice that I needed. So I thought that was a win, even though she's already a customer, but she like still bought a completion pack. So I don't know, I thought that was exciting.
That is so exciting. And helping your babysitter while she's out there while you're amazing. You're so awesome. And hey, working through objections, just like we're talking about tonight. Anyone else have anything they want to share? Big, small, in between, whatever.
It literally can be anything, guys.
Yeah.
Anything. It doesn't have to mean that you can get a challenge pack.
It doesn't have to be business either. It can be in your journey, your personal journey. Oh, yay. Thanks someone for writing in the chat because it popped up for me. Just hit Emerald. Yay, Astrid. That's so exciting. Congrats. Yay. I will say I have one that I want to share. I have a challenger who's in our MBF group, and she has consistently worked out for the last 3 weeks. And this is the first time she's like really consistently worked out. And she's just like so proud of herself. And she keeps sending me texts like, I can't believe it. And she actually was in a challenge group in the past with like another coach and just never really had or felt like she had like the accountability and stuff. And so that those texts just never get old, and they actually are so helpful in almost times where you feel like you have been a coach for a while. It's just really nice to know that like you're still really able to make an impact and add value to people when, you know, sometimes you wonder like, am I still like, even though I know I am, it's just really, really exciting. Did someone unmute? Did someone want to go? Okay. If
I'll
not,
share one real
okay.
quick.
Yay. Go, Cass.
With my kids as per usual. So I had one of my coaches text me, and she said that she signed up 2 girls without even coming to me and doing it all on her own. She completely went through the process. One of them, she just did an annual membership. The other one, she signed up with a challenge pack. And so I'm just so pumped for her because she was one of those girls who is taking action and doing it on her own. And then I was able to then come back and look at her conversations and like figure out how we could do, you know, things different the next time, and how maybe signing her up for some, you know, her coaches for something else next time. But her just taking that initiative and doing it herself, I was like, that's a huge win. That's so exciting. And I've had now a couple of my coaches showing up and wanting to do the business. And I think that that is something that I was fearful of. And I didn't really know how to like navigate me turning into a leader of leaders, and now seeing it come to fruition. It just makes it easier, right? When you're in it, you realize what to do. So that was a big one for me.
That's so exciting, Cassie. And just so for everyone that is new, Cassie's been a coach for a little over a year. Her year was in January, and it's just so cool to see everyone's journey. That's so exciting for you and your girls. I'm so excited for you. And I know you've been going through a lot of changes. So, exciting. You know, them showing up and you showing up and all that is amazing. Yay!
And just being authentic on your journey, and just making sure that you're just still continuing to share those vulnerabilities, because we all have them. We all have hiccups in our journey, and still knowing that we're adding value to those people, even when you don't know if you really are. It's just the consistency. So.
Yes. And I just wanted you guys to know we are going to be sharing wins every team call at the beginning. So throughout the week, write your wins down, write things that you want to, you know, bring to the call and share. Because really, I want us to share wins so that you guys can see and hear what everyone else is working on and going through and things like that. So I think sometimes we should also share our loses and our failures, because I think those are also just as important. I was actually just talking to Bentley about this. I was like, if you're always going to win, like he's playing Mario Kart and he like had himself on the easiest setting. And I was like, dude, if you're always going to win and be first place, you're never going to like challenge yourself. You got to challenge yourself. So just like in Mario Kart, no, just kidding. Okay. So I want to just shout out the top coaches of the week: Brittany, Gabby, myself, Evie, and Brianne. And we got recognition late today, so I wanted to just share it here first before I post it in the team page. So excited for everyone that is just moving their business forward. And so far, we have already changed 50 lives, and it is only the 6th of the month. So that is really awesome. That's almost 10 a day, 10 new people a day. And I think that we can continue to do better and just help more people. So let's get to it. Oh yeah, also had this completed today, but I was like, I'm just going to share here as well. So I wanted to just talk about a few announcements, because I know that there's been kind of a lot of stuff happening in the team page. So actually, I'm curious, for those of you doing MBF, are you doing another round starting on Monday? What is your plan for that? Or are you going into MBFA? I decided to do a second round. So I'm going to be doing another round of MBF, and then I'm going to do MBFA. So if you're in a test group, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be kind of posting for MBF, MBFA. But the group that began prep week on the 3rd, that actually is starting on Monday again. So still feel free to add people to it. Just know they're not going to have their bod ropes. They can do, you know, the whatever. And then if you haven't yet seen my Instagram stories about the Fit for Birth and Beyond, this is a group that Talia actually put together and shared. And if you want to be a part of it, it's open to really anyone that is, you know, wanting to help people be fit for birth and beyond. Basically the name, which I love. And Heather made graphics I kind of tweaked, and so I actually added the Canva link to our Google Drive, and I also purchased the Mompreneur VA Instagram slides, and I only used like one of them, but I did like all of them. So I kind of got inspo from it, and that started on the 3rd, and that's in BOD group. So if you do have anyone for that, I can, or one of us can add you as an admin. That way you can just automatically invite people, so you're not having to be like, hey, can you send so-and-so an invite? And what that also means is it'll show up under your bot account. So anyone that joins or your leads or whatever, it'll also have that group if you're an admin in your bod groups that everyone can access. Because if you're not familiar and you're a newer coach, just know that if the value of bod groups really for what they are right now is that it shows up when people join and shows up in there so that they don't have to be like waiting for a Facebook. And I've found more leads have joined my bod groups than honestly emailing back. So that's kind of a value of that. And they're consistently working on it. So I will also post this. You can take a screenshot of it right now. But I want you to know that we're really trying to plan out the month's team calls so you guys are also ahead of the game and kind of know what's coming. So next week, we actually have Sydney, my corporate mentor. She's awesome. She's going to be guest speaking for us same time next week. And then we also have the 20th, we have how to connect and tell stories that sell. And then also how to create shareable posts is on the 27th. And so if you have anything about these, you know, topics that you want us to focus on or things like that, feel free to reach out and let us know before then. Okay, so we are, I'm not going to be able to look at the chat for right now. So just know that Talia's in here, and I want to just note that a little bit of this is from guide culture. Actually, a lot of it. So the background for myself is I've actually always kind of loved objections. When I first became a coach, I really wanted to feel confident in that and be like, okay, how can I really help people see it? While I didn't do exactly this, I did do something similar, and this has helped me kind of perfect and tweak what's really helped me help show other people the value, and I'm hoping that this also helps you. This is going to take practice. It takes time. It takes getting objections and having people have objections, like helping you through this. And so at the end, we're going to do role playing, and there's going to be a chance for hot seat. So if you want to be the person that is handling the objection and we can help guide you through it, that is also going to be something that we are going to take time to do. So first,
I got the chat too, Emma. So I'll keep an eye on the box.
Okay, perfect. So Talia, I'll be on the box. And I actually need my phone because I have notes. So if you see me looking down, it's because I have notes and I really just want to make sure that I don't miss anything. Okay, so this is switching your mindset. So I think, like I was saying, a lot of us have this fear of concerns. We are scared to almost maybe reach out. Can I actually ask, is there anyone that's fearful of reaching out or connecting with people because they're fearful of not knowing what to say? Is that a thing with anyone? Okay. Thank you for your honesty. Okay, perfect. So I totally get it. And I think that's really why we have been talking a lot about this, because knowing this is going to help you not feel that way. So I want you to say to yourself right now, I love concerns. I love concerns. Sounds weird, right? But really, concerns and objections are people that are interested and really curious in what you have to offer. Can I share a secret with you that might not be a secret? All of these ladies in this picture had concerns. They still sometimes have concerns and objections. And so I don't want you to think that because of whatever, XYZ, whatever, it doesn't mean you're any less than or less worthy or anything. Okay? You're good. You're so Hi, love you. You're amazing. Okay, so I just want to say that so we're all on the same page that I had concerns. I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and so this is the best thing someone could have is the fact that they trust you enough to even ask. Because I will tell you that asking questions can even be scary. Okay, so the fact that they even trust you and they feel confident and comfortable to ask is huge. So I want to just start with that. So another thing is a reason and a very common theme of objections is either these two things, they don't trust you enough or they don't know enough. And I learned these on my very first summit, actually at a session with two men. I was really shocked. I was like, wow, there's men Beachbody coaches. I was like, okay, I'm going to sit in the front. I'm going to take really good notes. And so this was something that really stood out to me is either they don't trust you enough. So when I'm gauging an objection or when someone's coming to me with a concern, I ask myself, okay, do they trust me? Yes or no? And have I really shown them the value? Are they someone that I see watching my Instagram stories? Have we had a conversation in the past? Have they asked me questions in the past? Where has that missing link been? Okay, so this is something that can help you. It's almost like you're weighing the situation, right? So, okay, so maybe they trust you a little more, so you just got to give them a little bit more value so it gets them up to that even point, right? Or maybe it's the opposite. And so I hope by having these two, this like meter almost, it's really going to help you as your job and as them as your coach, guiding them in the right direction to make these decisions based off of their goals, just by really knowing whether they trust you enough or they know enough. And by knowing enough, it doesn't mean you have to spew all this information at them and all this stuff. Have you sent them videos? Have they been a part of a challenge group? And because that's what's going to help you be able to come back and kind of combat those objections. Like, oh, well, I don't think that like I have the time, right? Okay, well, how much time do you think it takes? Have you enjoyed being in the accountability group? Like if they've been in the accountability group, you can really like draw out and bring out that emotion from them. So then when they come back with this objection, you can say, well, you told me and you shared with me that, taking time for yourself and being a part of this community is something that you really find value in, isn't it? And then that's not you telling them, that's them saying it to you and you just saying it back to them. Okay, and we're going to get more into that. Okay, so let's talk about the how to. You're like, okay, yeah, mindset, that's great. Now how do I help people and combat objections? Okay, so the first one is agree with them. Okay, so something that I had never really done until 2 years ago was agreeing with people when they had objections, because sometimes that is actually going to help them commit. So instead of being like, oh my gosh, like, yes. What? One second, you guys. Y'all, my 8-year-old just said he felt like he couldn't feel his heart beating. Okay, that was the predicament of the night. Okay, so ever since he got put, I will be honest, ever since he got put to sleep, he has had this like severe anxiety. Like we went to his post-op and he was like, am I gonna? I'm like, no, you're fine. Okay, totally sorry. I'm so sorry. Most of you are moms, so you get it. I love you all. So basically what you're wanting to do is really agree with them. I understand. So if they say, I don't have enough time, I understand. I also value my time. Oh, I just don't know if I have enough time because I have my kids and stuff. I get it. I also value the time that I have with my kids. This is why you should. Or I also watch my budget. So you're getting to the point of agreement with them. Does that make sense? So maybe write in a chat box what's a common objection you get, Or if you don't get one right now, maybe that you're fearful of getting by just taking action. I would love to know, because especially just not even for now, we're going to role play at the end, and it's going to help us with kind of knowing how to share things that are going to help you for this after this call. And so we're not just like agreeing with them, and we're not just saying like, oh, like being a downer kind of with them or whatever, but you're agreeing with them so that then next you can ask for clarity. So then when you're asking for clarity, you can really get to the root of that. And what's the root of this objection? So when we say like we don't, hold on, I'm reading my notes. So, okay, so say they say, I don't have enough time. I get it. I also value my time. What does that look like for you? Or what is the best time and time management look like for you? Where are some pockets in your day that you could take for yourself? And painting that picture of what it can look like for them. And really listening. So many people want to be heard. And so if they really feel like you understand them, that's gonna be trusting right there. It's not always so much about what you say and in your Instagram stories and things like that. It's a lot more about how you're responding and you're helping and guiding them in these conversations. And so that's gonna help them understand and continue to come back to you versus someone else. Now, number 3 is you're going to decide when this is important and valuable for you. So really kind of figuring out when you're going to help this objection. If someone comes to me and says like, hey, I want to get started, but I want to know how much it is, and I don't know if I can afford it. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh yeah, I would love to tell you it costs this much and this much and XYZ, and this is what you get. No, I'm going to say, oh, like, hi, like, I'm so excited to help you. Would it be okay if I, ask you a few questions so that I can best help you reach your goals? Every time they say yes. And then you go into that. That's not me not, ever going to answer their question. That's me deciding that objection, I'm just going to work on later after I've found out their goals and after I've figured out what's going to work best for them. Because that's going to help me flow with it more. It may take longer, but like the whole behind thing, like what does longer mean, right? If you're deciding to be a coach for life, there's no like too long or whatever. There have been people I've been in conversation with for 4 years, and like you just have to get that out of your mindset too, that there's this end date. There isn't. And the reason really why you want to be connecting with new people every single month is because people aren't going to join every month right away. So the people that you're connecting with this month could connect or be ready in 3 months, 6 months. They could be ready right now, but that's not always the case. And so knowing when and how to do this is really helpful. So handling it now would be, so before is like, oh yeah, so if you have someone say like, hey, I want to get started, but there's this $15 fee that goes along with coaching. That would be something that you would help with before, right? Before they made the decision. And then now is saying like, hey, I'm really worried about X, Y, and Z. So if they're really worried about something, you want to address that now. And then, like I said, with later, when it comes to like the price, someone coming directly to you. And then never is actually like, this is when you stand up for yourself. This is when people, are like, oh yeah, you're a part of a network marketing company. Well, yeah, I am. And I love what I do. And so when you decide that you're going to say, yes, this is what I do. Yes, I am a part of a network marketing company. That's going to build confidence that they know what you're talking about and that you wholeheartedly believe in it. Because if you're like, well, yeah, I am, but like, that's not going to exude confidence in what you're doing. whether you have it right now or not, you were put on this earth to help people, right? That's why you're here, right? You want to serve people and you want to help people feel how you feel now. Okay, so don't ever let people get that in your mind. And we're always here for that too, if you ever need help in that.
Can I say something about that,
Yeah,
Emma, real quick?
of course, yeah.
So I guess I just want to ask you guys, we kind of had this conversation come up in a little chat with some of the new coaches, and they were worried about like what people were thinking, you know, especially with like multi-level marketing and network marketing and stuff. And I mean, I get it. I felt the exact same way like when I started, but then it dawned on me that, you know, what about people that work at, let's just say, what about people that like work at McDonald's, or they're like a janitor cleaning toilets somewhere, or they're a house cleaner or whatever. Like in some cases, people look at that as a super low end job and like not necessarily something to be proud of. But what if those people are proud of that and they love doing it and that makes them happy? Who are we to judge them for that? Like, if anything, they're happy and they love to do it. So, and you wouldn't be like, oh, you're a janitor, oh, you work at McDonald's, oh, great. Like, that's not our right to feel that way, nor would we want someone to feel shame for something that gives them joy. So when people look at you and say, oh, you're a part of a network marketing company, well, who are you to judge me on something that I love to do? You don't even have a job. Or maybe you work at a lawyer's office. Oh, you work at a lawyer's office? Oh, shoot. Well, I've seen a lot of lawyers are a-holes. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's silly for us to be afraid of network marketing and of network marketing in the whole business, because there's always going to be the bad salespeople or the bad reps for each company, but that doesn't make all of us that way. So be proud of something that you are involved in, that you love to do and you love to help people with, and that is all that matters. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there.
No, you're right. And I actually wrote something down like that because Loy talked about that. And it's actually in the deny. There's a way to, this leads into denying a statement that maybe someone thinks is true. And something else that Rachel Hollis said at Summit when we were there 2 years ago was she actually had the whole audience like raise their hand, like, who in this room has been judged by someone who has never been in this room? Like, that literally has no idea what you are about and like because they haven't even taken the time of day to really know, right? And so if that's you have to understand that some people it's okay to care about what people think. Totally. It is 100% okay. And you want to have your 5 people, right? Like Brene Brown talks about this. Like, who are your 5 people who has been victimized by Regina George? So true. And so, oh my God, you and Katie had a freaking Mean Girls Bachelorette, and it was bomb.com. So, side note. Yeah, like basically that's what it is. Okay. Anyways, I totally lost my train of thought. I'm now on Regina George, and I'm like thinking about the monkeys in the pen and everyone fighting each other. Okay. But basically you just have to stand firm, and that's what's going to help. Because like Talia was saying, like, not all coaches are icky, right? Like, sure, maybe there are some, and like, yes, there have definitely probably been times that we've all been doing things that aren't maybe what we want to be doing, but we have to do that to learn what we want to be doing, right? We have to do those things and go through those times and go through those icky messages or icky posts or whatever, right? To learn and know how and where we want to show up and serve value and failing forward. Yes, exactly. Okay, so now how, right? So number 1 is the reverse. So this basically all comes together, and again, you're gonna hear Talia and I do some role playing, but this goes back with agreeing with them. And so the reverse actually is, so many times people are throwing out concerns that they're actually trapping themselves, and it actually could be the very reason that they should be moving forward. There's honestly 2 sides to everything. So you have to kind of go with it at that. So you're saying, well, it costs too much. Well, actually, this is going to save you money. Like, let's take a look at the facts here, right? Shakeology is $4 a serving. And what that means is actually $130 a month, which is saving you money on groceries and time when it comes to cooking food for one meal. And saving time and money as a busy mom that works in the home is something that you really want, right? Do you see what I did there with what they just said? They told me that it was actually going to be too much money. And I said, well, that's actually the reason why you should, because it actually is going to save you money and time. And so this could be with anything, and we're here to help you when it comes to this. But the next time you get an objection, I want you to think back to your conversation and think about how whatever they said could actually, like, okay, well, maybe they say it's too much. Well, you also can save 25% every single month. And saving money and getting a discount is something you like, right? I mean, I like Target discounts. I like discounts on Amazon. I think any person likes a discount, right? And so that's kind of where you can gather this information. Concerns and objections take time, and you can collect kind of a bank. So I would start to collect your objections and the concerns that you're getting and start keeping kind of a notepad of them so that you can come back, and even when you're at home, in bed, you can go through and be like, okay, well, what are reasons why it could help them save money or saving them time or X, Y, and Z, like whatever that looks like for them. Because everyone's going to be different. Like every conversation is just like the same, but different. You know what I mean? Number 2 is explain. So you're going to be explaining, and I don't have notes for it. I only wrote these. So like, say someone is a research junkie, right? They love doing their research. Everyone should like doing research, right? When they're investing on something, who here likes to do research on things? Do you read the Amazon, reviews, all those things, right? I get it. I also want to do my own research, but let me help you and show you the facts of what this can look like for you. I have videos, like you don't have to take the time. I will send you videos that will help you and show you kind of what this is going to look like for you. So you can still help them when it comes to research, but letting them know like you have the videos like on Vimeo and things like that you can send them. And then admitting, so sometimes it is true, their objection, right? Like sometimes it is $100 a month, right? Shakeology is $130 a month. But here's the thing is if you believe the value far exceeds the price, you're going to be showing them the value with that. Okay. So it just adds this credibility that you can admit what this like looks like and what this means for them and go from there. Don't have this like fearful energy of like, because I think back when I first started, I was fearful, more so of like coaching and stuff. I didn't really know like how to talk about it. I didn't really feel like I had like a super close community that I really wanted to like invite to. So it was kind of hard. And so like admitting like, hey, I also, want to feel valued. Let me help you. And like, let's do this together. And just kind of admitting what their fear is and going with them with that. And then this is what I was talking about with the denial. Like sometimes things just aren't true, right? So maybe talk about some reasons why you might be defending yourself. Like I would honestly sit down and make a list. Are there things that you've been defending yourself when it comes to this business? When it comes to these with your challenge groups? What are the things that maybe you need to defend? And maybe these are posts that you make or Instagram stories that you get on and you start talking into and about. Because then you can say, if someone wants to make a comment, like no one can just be grouped into a stereotype. I'm sorry. I get it. There are, like Talia said, there's going to be great car salesmen. There's going to be icky car salesmen. It doesn't matter the business. It matters about the person that wants to grow and wants to take time to really do the work. And that's what we're here to do, right? We want to do this together. We want to do this the right way. We want to help people see the value. So that is what I had when it comes to notes. And I hope that you all took notes, and I'll share the replay, of course, and all that. But I want to do some role playing right now. I'm going to stop my share, and after we can talk about questions too. So if you have questions right now, just type them in the chat. Because that's the next slides are just role playing about challenge groups, role playing about coaching, and then questions. And I hope that you found value in this. I know Ashton earlier, I was prepping on, I was doing notes. She's like, "Can I say hi to your friends on your work call?" I was like, "Oh, I'm not on yet." That's cute of you. So Talia, did you want to do some? Did you just get a boomerang? You sneaky,
Sorry,
fox. It's like swiper no swiping.
Yeah, they actually gave a ton of awesome objections, just FYI.
Okay, I haven't looked in the chat, so that's great. But wait, can we all smile really quick before anyone else hops off? But I really hope you can stay on for the role play, because I think this will be. Okay, ready? It's a boomerang. So can anyone else unmute there? There we go.
Good.
Wonder. Okay. Ready, set, yay! Oh, cute. Okay, perfect. Okay, so sure, was it up when I?
So if you go, it starts where Katie says, "I don't have time." It's like at 7:52 p.m. And then after that, there was just like awesome ones.
Perfect. Okay. Yep. I don't have time. Being busy with school starting. Okay. I can't afford it. Telling them the price. Okay. Not a group person. Like to do things on their own. Okay. Great. Okay. So what do you feel like I can start with whatever. And Talia, do you want to just throw at me an objection and we can just start, or I can throw at you an objection?
Yeah. So let's say you're talking to me about like a workout or something.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me you don't have, or I'll.
I just don't have time to do this, Emma. I'm sorry.
Talia, I get it. I too value my time, and when I'm working on things, can you tell me a little bit more about what your routine right now looks like?
Yeah, I'm a mom with a 3-year-old, and I'm pregnant, and I just have like, I don't know, I feel like I can't do much like with my son because he's running around everywhere, and it's just really hard to focus, and I have to like prepare a meal, take care of the house, so it's just a lot. I don't know when I'll be able to fit it in.
I get it. I actually was just there not too long ago, and it is definitely a harder season. Is there anything that you feel like you'd have time for, maybe 15, 20 minutes? What do you feel like is a good time frame if you were to have time to take care of yourself?
I mean, I could probably handle like maybe like 15 minutes. Like I know when my son goes down for a nap, I usually try to like pick stuff up around the house and, get some laundry done. But by the time all that's over, maybe like 15, 20 minutes.
And what would you say is the reason why you want to take time for yourself? Like what interests you in the first place with joining one of my groups, but feeling like maybe you don't have the time?
I guess, I mean, like being a mom, a stay-at-home mom is really hard. Like you're always giving. And so I just want to have something for me, but I guess I'm afraid I'm not really going to commit to it the way I probably should.
Yeah. And I get it. And I think that one of the values that you will find when joining one of my groups is that there are so many moms that are also taking time for themselves, and knowing that you are in a community with other moms that are busy as well. Is that something that you feel like could be helpful for you?
Yeah, actually, because I feel like maybe I wouldn't be so alone. Because when you don't have adult interaction, I mean, you definitely just feel alone.
Yeah. So would you think maybe a 2-week free trial to get started, just to kind of dip your toes in, see if this could help you and move forward that way? Do you think that's something you'd find interesting?
Yeah, that would actually work. See if I can fit it into my schedule.
Great. So do you see how it takes time, right? Like that just took what, probably 5 minutes, and of course it'll look different for everyone, but was that helpful?
Yeah, I mean, look what I did. Okay, so when we say like when I said I don't have time, most of us are like, oh crap. Okay, how am I going to talk about this? But the real reason was because I just like she didn't know the backstory of why I didn't have time. She had to ask the questions to kind of smoke out the real reason. And that is like the biggest thing with objections is no one's going to give you the real reason why. They're giving you a vague answer. You have to be the one to help them tell you the real reason. Like I could go through my messages with my babysitter and show you like what she told me was like about like not wanting to commit to the supplements and like all this stuff. And then when I started asking her questions, the real reason came out and I'm like, oh, okay, there it is, Emily. Like that's what I was trying to get to. I'm glad you told me that. So it's not about trying to like overcome the objections. I think it's more about like, okay, you're giving me an objection, but what's the fear and the problem that you're afraid of that I could help you resolve? So it's about resolving the problems and the objections. So that might make it a little bit easier when you have objections, instead of being like, oh crap, like I don't know how to answer this. Think, okay, there's a problem that they're afraid of. What's the problem? And then ask the questions to find it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I will say with like the price objections, continue to add that value on your stories. So really, showing up and showing the value helps in your private conversations. So sometimes I try and actually combat objections in my stories.
Mm-hmm. But how do you combat objections? Because an example of that would be something like what, Emma?
For what?
So like you said, you combat objections in your stories. What's an example of like I don't have time? Like how would you combat that in your story?
So showing the value of how this can look for them in a way. So like showing that they can log on whenever they want. It doesn't have to just be a morning routine. If they want to have a nighttime routine, that's great too. What works for me is morning, but I know that's not going to be everyone. And so either doing a live about it or just showing in the morning or rewriting on my stories, like what it looks like for them and what it can look like for them. That they don't just have to be in their groups all the time. Also, what's in Shakeology, what's in Energize, things like that I guess it's not necessarily, I don't really get the time one that much because I think I'm a mom of 3. And so I just don't think people ever like come to me with the fact that they don't have time. Because if they said that to me, I think they would probably be like, wait, what? So I personally don't get that one that much. I really just more so try to add the value because I think more so where mine comes is the income and like the money. And moms need to see the value in something before they invest in themselves. I don't know about you, but I think a lot of moms buy for their kids more than they'll buy for themselves first. That's how I used to be, at least. And so I think if you also can show the value of how it's going to help their kids and it trickles down into their kids, you're more apt to showing them the value for themselves.
Yes. So a quick side note on that, and then this other objection that they keep talking about is a really good one. So a great example, guys, too, is put yourself back in being a prospect. Okay. If you were that person, think about what does that mean to not have time? Like you have days when you're like, oh my God, I just don't have the time right now to like get in my workout. But because you're coaches, you're kind of like, okay, how can I make this work? So what if you literally had 10 minutes and you're like, okay, Well, guess what? We have like 10-minute trainer. So you could get on your stories and you could literally say, my schedule is insane today. So I literally have 10 minutes to work out. I'm going to get this done. And 10 minutes is at least something that I can squeeze in for myself or whatever. Or say, you know, like if you go ahead, sorry.
Well, sorry, I just got like, so with Jenna's, so Jenna had someone tell her they had a hard time committing to this. Okay, so what I would do is I would actually reverse it, and I would say, this is the reason why you actually should invest in this, because with the accountability in our support groups, it will help you, show you how to have the routine. But then also, that's why finding out why they want to take time for themselves is really valuable, because then you can actually bring it back around to them and say, hey, like, I know you told me in the past, like, the reason you want to work out or, you know, whatever for yourself, take time, eat healthier, find the plan for you, is because XYZ, you know? And so being a part of this group, and like you were saying, Talia, going, you know, Jenna, you could go on and just showing more of the groups. Like, I think just visualizations of what our, like, kind of sneak peeks of our groups. And today I did a sneak peek of what the behind the scenes of the post and pre-bar looks like on BOD, and like what that looks like. And so kind of giving people like an in. And I also like, did you ask them what costs a lot, or like, did they know the price, or did they just say they don't know, just assuming that it costed a lot? Because I feel like sometimes people assume. No, you can unmute.
Yeah, Leander's being kind of loud, so I didn't want it to
You're
be
fine.
Much. It was kind of different. Two different people who are like actually best friends. One of them had been in contact with her, and Molly had told her like the price of everything, and then the other girl, I did tell her how much it was, and she kind of just like beat around the bush, saying that she had a hard time committing and didn't really know how much further she wanted to go.
So that wouldn't be about price then. That would be about her actual belief in herself and her commitment, if you think about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could have said, so tell me a little bit more about why you feel like you can't commit to this.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not telling you really. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say you should still say what Talia said to her if you haven't said anything yet.
Mm-hmm. Because she may say, like, my babysitter gave me the same thing today. She's like, I just don't know if I want to like invest in monthly supplements, you know, if I know like I can't really commit to this. And I was like, you know, I think I used the admit on her, because I basically said like, you know, why do you feel like you can't commit? And she's like, I don't know. I just like start and stop and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I admit it. There's definitely, it takes dedication. It takes following the systems of our programs. That's why they're in place. But that's why I'm here as your coach in the groups and, you know, all of that stuff too. And I even asked her, I said, you need to ask yourself why you want to do this in the first place. And so I said, let's do that now. So I said, why do you want to do this, Emily? And so she was like, that's a great question. I didn't even really think about that. And then she shared why with me. And I said, so then why is that important to you? And I did this 5 times with her. And she gave me like paragraph answers of like, well, I really want to just like feel better and have more confidence and this and this. And so I started breaking down, well, why is that important to you? Why is that important to you? And why does that even matter? And she came finally at the very end. She was like, I have to read it because we had a long conversation, but she basically was like, I want to have more confidence in myself and feel secure that I, you know, can have like more energy throughout my days. It just makes my days better. And I feel better in my relationship with my boyfriend and this and this. And I said, that right there is what's going to help you commit on the hard days. So when you sit there and say that you're like, I just don't feel like doing this, this is what you remember. And I, as your coach, will help you and remind you of that every time you struggle, but you have to, you know, commit to it. And she was like, oh, wow. Yeah. Holy cow. Like, you know, so the emotion, but I had to ask her 5 times why that mattered.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because this is something that everyone should do, is the 5-time rule. So I'm really happy you guys said this, Jenna, because I think that a lot of people run into this, right? Like Talia just ran into it with with her babysitter not too long ago. And so what Talia was talking about when she said she asked why 5 times, this is something that you can do on Instagram too. So I got this example from Macy and Catherine, but they said when people ask, is there ever been a time where you're sharing value on Instagram and then someone's like, where'd you get your shirt? Or where'd you get your, like, something that's not relevant to, like, not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, has that ever happened to you? Yes, no? Okay, regardless. When someone does that about anything, ask them why it's important or why does that matter? And you're going to do this 5 times because like what Talia just said, it's actually going to get them and draw out why it really matters. So another thing that I've learned is a lot of the times it's not actually about money. Because if you're ready to invest, you're going to press that submit button, right? You want to go buy that purse, you want to go buy that shirt, you want to go buy whatever it is, you're going to go buy it. It's not really going to be that hard of a decision, right? If you're already sold on it. And so by really asking these questions and knowing that it's not really money, I mean, there is a time that it can be money, like an adoption, those are expensive. Like there is definitely times people are in financial struggles, but most of the time it's not actually that. And who can really put an amount on investing in their health and wellness, right? Like people pay so much more money every single month for gyms that don't even have nutritional value, that don't have the superfoods going into their homes and things like that. So just remember, wow, yes, maybe there's other things out there. That's awesome. That's so great that that works for you. I am so, like, literally when people tell me that they are doing something else, I am like, I am so happy you found something that works for you. Good for you. I'm here for you whenever you're ready. And then like 2 months, years later, whatever, they're ready. So just,
yeah. And not everybody's gonna like say yes, and that's okay. We kind of have to look at it in a way of, we're pre-qualifying them to and helping them to make the decision that's best for them. And if ultimately they're giving you answers and you're like, I really don't know if this is actually a good thing for them right now, that's okay too. But you have to actually take the time to do the work with them. And that's what kind of takes the pressure off of all of us too when we're talking to people. You don't have to feel like that, like every single person, you have to get them to say yes, because you want to feel confident knowing that you're actually helping somebody that's best for them, not you. So when you're talking to them, if it really isn't something that's going to work well for them after you've done the work to find like the real reasons and stuff, that's okay too. Maybe it's right for them later.
and one more thing too, is when you start to get people that message you testimonials or send you text messages of like, oh my gosh, like this group has been a game changer or whatever it looks like for them, share that stuff. Just bleep out their name, share it, because that's going to help these people that have objections see that other people are having success in the areas that they were objecting, right? And so then, again, it might take them a little bit longer. That's okay. But that's just going to help build that trusting bank. And that's kind of what we're here to do, is like building this trusting bank with people. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so people are, purchasing Pelotons. I mean, people purchase, meal shipments every month or whatever that, Home Chef, all those things, which are great. But like I'm saying, we have resources and stuff. So I think just honing in on the value and knowing it takes time. The more time and consistency and showing up that you do, the less objections you will start to have. Not that like they go away, but I will say that I don't have as many objections in my conversations. It's more of just like lasting conversations where they're like ready, but then they're also like, I have to wait till the paycheck, because that can be a legit thing too. Like I have to wait a week or things like that.
Yeah. Do you want to go through some of these, and maybe we could say, like, we could kind of go through some of the objections, but maybe you guys can like find out if it's not your objection, maybe see how you would initially like start to find out the real answers. Like, let's practice, because truly this is how you learn how to resolve objections, is practicing. So like, let's see. We kind of talked about can't affording it, telling them the price. And then Tamara said, someone said they're not a group person. They like to do things on their own, and price is the biggest hang up. So if someone said, I'm not really a group person, I like to do things on my own, what would you say to them? Anybody can unmute, or we're going to call on you.
And so I unmuted myself, and I'm really, really bad at this, but I'm trying to get better. So we actually say my name is Tamra.
Oh, Tamara.
So it's okay. I usually don't correct people, but my cousin's on here, and I think she might yell at me if I don't correct people. But yeah, that's all.
Oh.
I think it's because I'm not a group person that I get these people all the time that are frequently like, yeah, I'll do on demand, but I don't want anything to do with the challenge group at all. That's what they tell me all the time.
So how do you respond?
Usually I try to say that the people who get better results are the people who show up to the challenge group. And, and I think that's true, but I don't know if there's more answers because they still don't seem to care. And I just feel like I'm talking to myself in my challenge groups all the time.
Right. So if they're not a group person and they say, well, I just, I like to do stuff on my own, and you tell them something to the effect of like, well, the people that usually get the better results are the ones with the groups. But what if they truly do just like to do their own thing?
Yeah.
So maybe you can ask them, why do you feel like you're not a group person? What if they had a really bad experience with a group? Yeah. I mean, I have people that are like, I really don't want to do the group. And I was like, that's fine. Like, I can check in with you. Like, I can do one-on-one with you. That's fine if that's what works for you. And then you can offer that to them. But I would ask, like, just say, why do you feel like the groups are not going to benefit you? I'm just pure curiosity, and see what they say. And, you can give them options for sure, but I would still ask, because what if she's literally just being vague, and then you asked her like that question, and then she says, well, I was a part of groups before, and every time I would share something, I would get judged for it. Then you're like, oh, okay, well, that doesn't happen here. You know what I mean? Like, so it just kind of helps you to better understand why they're saying those things.
I think that makes more sense. I'm not always the best at asking more questions, so I think
that's okay. That's why we're holding this call, because we all need practice in this. So that's good though. I'm glad you brought that one up.
Another book, just if you guys want to get better at asking questions, something that helped me was by John Maxwell. It's Good Leaders Ask Great Questions. It's a really good book too, if you ever need like a business development book. I would ask her why. Like you said, I think we were talking about this morning, but I don't know if you can relate. Is like mommy groups can be kind of shameful, and like, especially if, I've been in groups where they haven't been like the most greatest mom groups. And so, like she said, she could have had like a really bad experience. And I've had that too. Or like they've had a really bad experience with another coach, or it just wasn't their vibe. And so you can be that kind of light and show them like, oh, like we're not all the same. Like our groups aren't all run the same. Because sometimes they could also maybe think like, we all do everything the same. I don't know. Do you hear Ashton?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Melissa had a really good one too. She said, I haven't got, oh, I'm sorry. Is somebody unmuted? No.
Yeah, I was just gonna share that. I shared it in the chat, but I just wanted to say it. Was that one of my friends from college, actually, I had no idea, but she did Beachbody with 2 different coaches, 2 or 3. I can't even remember. She like jumped around because the first one like went on a hiatus. Second one wasn't really like showing up. And then the third one, she said a lot of people were just not showing up in the group. And so she felt like she was the only one showing up every single day. And so she finally just gave up. She's like, I lost a lot of weight and I did great with To Be Mindset. She had so many great, amazing things to say about the company, but not the coaches. And sorry. And I kind of just, I stopped. I didn't keep going with it. So So I'm liking hearing everything that you guys are saying, because it's a good way for me to kind of maybe bring it back up in the future. I'm not going to do it right now. She's super sweet, and I'm really proud of her for everything she's done, but she became very anti-groups. And she said, I did it all by my damn self, and I don't need the groups to do it. And I was like, okay, well, fair enough. It's like I dropped the conversation about that at that point.
But that's
So.
okay. That's okay, because she shared that with you. That's huge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you could tell her, like, offer the same thing. I'd be like, listen, I mean, I understand. Like, I would feel frustrated, or, you know, I would want to be a part of a group that lifts me up, you know, and helps me to enjoy my journey. And because you've kind of had that, like, you know, salty experience, do you want to just like group up with me and like we'll work out together? I'll be your accountability partner, you know, and all that stuff. Because that she may, if her initial like flavor of coaches is not a good one, you could change that completely just by saying, I'll be the coach that keeps you accountable. You don't want to do the groups, that's fine. But you hired me to be your coach, and I'm going to be the one that helps you and keeps you motivated and makes it a fun experience. You know?
Yeah, definitely. I think I might try to reach out to her again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And that will
Just to
hold
give
you,
an option.
no, yeah, and that will hold you accountable too. And I think another great thing was, hey, do you want to run your own groups? Like, you have so much success. Like, if you want to have your own engagement, you know, like Talia said, link up together. She could run her own ball group with her friends or whatever, you know. So that's another kind of a reverse way of looking at it, is if she's giving you this objection of like, oh, well, I like doing my own thing. Great. Would you want to run your own groups? You seem like a go-getter. Go get them, you know. I don't know. Just something to think about too. So, especially, you know, because maybe a discount could help if she's invested in it already, just for that, and then she sees.
Yeah, she's still signed up, and she still drinks it. She still does a lot of stuff on her own. So I think it's so funny. But yeah, I just wanted to give her a little bit of space after we talked about it.
Totally. And that's good too. Giving
Marissa said, I've never stayed in a mommy group. Those women are vicious.
Yeah. And that's why I put on my my slides today, you know, you're going to be a part of a community where you're not getting like shamed for being moms.
I wanted to talk about Melissa's, because it was a really good one. And I feel like I get this all the time in my part-time job with people, and it drives me insane. So she said, I haven't gotten objections per se, but more people saying they'll think about it. And when I follow up, they're still unsure and decide not to. So timing. So if someone says, well, let me think about it, how would someone respond to that? Anybody? There's no wrong answers, guys. We need to practice this.
You won't be shamed for saying.
You won't be shamed or judged. Wait, are you writing in the chat box?
What did you say again? I missed it.
I said she's getting people that are saying, shoot, I lost it, where to go. Oh, they'll think about it. And then when she follows up, they're still unsure and decide not to.
That's definitely happened to me before too, and I didn't know what to say, so I don't know if I can respond to that one.
Yeah. So what I've been doing in like with my people at my part-time job, just so everybody knows, like I train people in leasing apartments, and we'll like show them apartments and stuff, and then they say, well, let me think about it. And it's the most annoying answer ever. And you're just like, you're the one that walked into my office asking me for like what, you know, all of this is about, and now you just wasted my time. Okay. So you could say something to the effect of like, so, you know, is there something that you're still concerned about that's causing you to hesitate? Because obviously, what do you need to think about? I'm giving you the whole solution right now. Is it price? Like, you know, is it time or like whatever? Like they're not telling you the real answer.
Can I say something? Because Melissa says I don't want to drive them way farther. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll reach out again later when they're ready. Don't have that mindset. We're here to guide them to make the best decision for themselves. So our answers, we shouldn't be fearful that we're going to drive them away, because you're not. You answering their questions are doing exactly what they want. They just want to have clear answers. They just want to know that like what they're committing to is best. And so when people say like, one, if they say that and I've been talking to them, I'm like, okay, great. Like, when do you feel like would be a better time for me to reach out to you? Like, is there something right now in your life that is making you say this or making you feel this way? Again, asking them like, what is it that's making you want to, like, I've told you everything and now all of a sudden you want to commit later. Like, so you're telling me you don't want to take 30 minutes a day for yourself? Like, that's what I'm hearing. Right? And so if you put it in that perspective too, I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm also sitting here like, makes no sense to me. Like, and I get it. I understand that we don't want to like push them into because again, you also don't want someone to do something they're not ready for, because then that's going to be a pain, then you're going to be feeling like you're pulling them along, and you don't, like, we're not here to pull people along, right? We're here to guide them.
Well, that's like saying something to the effect of, if you walked into, I don't know, a salon, okay, and you had a problem with like dry scalp, okay, and the person was like, oh, I know exactly how to fix that. Like, this shampoo will do this and it will take the dryness away and da-da-da. And then you go, well, I'm going to think about it. Okay, the solution is right here for you. And you're basically saying like, I don't really know. There's something else there. So you have to remember too, it's not about like, I don't know, maybe that question or that response sounded pushy, but when you answer them in that way about saying, it sounds like something is still concerning you, would you mind sharing that with me? That's not being pushy with someone. That's saying, I really want to understand why you feel this way. Like, I want to help you. I don't want you to feel concerned. I want you to know and feel confident that, this is something that you can do. I'm going to help you with it and it's going to work for you. And if they say, if you can tell when people are wishy-washy, then you can kind of say like, you know what, right now it sounds like you're just not ready to make the decision, and that's fine. You know where to find me. Move on, but it's our job to like help them pull out the real reason. Because if they're just like thinking about it, they're going to think about it. They're going to get off the message with you. Life's going to happen to them and they're going to totally forget. And then you follow up and bring it back up to them. They're going to be like, I don't even want to think about all that right now. No, I'm just not going to do it. Really, that's what happens. It's the same concept when people come into our offices and they want to think about it. The second they leave that office, life hits them. They've totally forgotten what they've looked at, talked about with me, everything. So you want to get them to make the decision right then and there, if they can, because you know what's right for them. If all is aligned and all they want to say is they want to think about it, they're not telling you the real reason.
And like she said, you can follow up. And a lot of times, then when I'm following up, I say, hey, I know when we talked before, you said it wasn't a great time. Is now a better time for you to look at this again? Or is this something you've still been thinking about? Like, I always say this, but Ashley Littlejohn, she coached and then she took a little break. And so then I reached out to her again. I was like, hey, is coaching still something that has been sitting on your heart? She was like, yes, every day. And I want to come back. I literally, that's all I said. And she was like, yes. And so I really like putting it on their heart or on their mind, like painting that picture when you're asking them that question. That's really something that's helped me too.
Let's do a few more, Bentley. And then we can open it up. We can do like two more and then we can open up for questions. Before we do that though, is this like helpful for you guys? Like, would you want this practice like more often, or at least once a month, or I don't know? You can shake your head or unmute or whatever. Okay. That's good to know. Okay, so Melissa had another good one. Where was it? Something about they don't think home workouts work and they prefer gyms. And then she had another one too that I liked. It says, yeah, or they don't have the motivation at home. Those stood out to me too. How would someone answer those? Just attempt. Melissa, do you want to try to answer your own objection?
Where are her objections? I was trying to find them.
They're up further. I didn't think I'd have the motivation, but I quickly learned it's discipline and mindset. Right. So that and seeing everyone post theirs being done. Okay. So FOMO, right. So someone could say, I don't feel like I have the motivation at home. You could say, why do you feel that? Why do you feel like you won't be motivated at home? It's basically always asking like, why? Why do you feel this way? And then they will give you some sort of answer. And then you can go into something like that. Say, like what Emma was talking about. You know, I get it. I understand. Like, I want to feel motivated at home so that I can get it done. You know, and then say something to the effect of, you know, our challenge groups actually showcase daily check-ins and everybody puts like, you know, their workouts. So that can be really motivating. And what that means, you know, is that you're going to kind of get that like little motivation from other people and that boost from other people that, you know, it's going to get you excited to do your workout and you're going to have that community and connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can bring a little bit of your story in there, but always make it about them too. And remember, like, go back to when you first started. Like, you're sitting there talking about, you know, I didn't think I had the motivation, and then you tried it. Like, what did you feel like when you first started? You know, like, remember those feelings. And that's how you, when you say, I understand, you can bring those feelings back in. Molly said, I use myself because I used to only go to the gym for 4 years, and I've gotten more results in 5 months at home than 5 years at the gym. Yeah. I wonder why people think that home workouts don't work. Does anybody have like a thought on why they feel that way or why they think that way? Oh yeah, the gym made me feel so lost too.
I think they still think we're like Jane Fonda.
I did Jane Fonda.
And push it.
I know. I did Tony, what's his name, with the curly hair. Did anybody remember him? Oh God. Long curly hair weirdo. Yeah. Most people think gyms work because they have all this fancy equipment. And honestly, I mean, unless you know what you're doing and you have a plan, then the gym may work. But guys, hello, we can stream those workouts in the gym. I tell people that all the time. I'd rather go to the gym. Oh, okay. Well, you know, do you have a personal trainer you work with? No. Okay. Well, I mean, you can hire one for way cheaper than in person and just do the workouts at the gym. I mean, I used to do Lift 4 and Body Beast at the gym. It's the same thing, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper to have 15 personal trainers at your fingertips than hiring one personal trainer for who knows how much 3 times a week per month plus your gym membership, you know? So it's not about, and I know I'm real sassy when I talk about it. I'm not trying to be like, well, matter of fact, but like, it's just things that, you know, like you can kind of help people work through because a lot of times they don't think about it in that way. Like, oh, I never thought about it in that perspective. They're very like fixed mindset. So, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, we can do questions if you want, Emma.
Yeah, anyone want to do questions? One more thing I wanted to just recommend is writing down the objections again that you get and just writing out reasons why it could help people, And just that will really help you when it comes to conversations. And also always, always, always feel free to send us your messages, send us your conversations. We love it. Crystal will tell you, I love helping her with conversations. She will send me conversations, and I love it because it helps me too. It helps me get good with responding, and it also helps me know what you guys are running into, so then I can be like, okay, like with this call, it was like, we're getting a lot of objections together. We were talking about it, and we were like, let's do an objection call. So it really helps us all together do these things.
Another side note too to add, just really fast, when you write down this objection and then you write your answer out, ask yourself, if I was a prospect, how would I feel with that answer? Because sometimes we get into like a robotic mode where we're like, oh yeah, well, you could totally do this and da da da. And then if I put myself in the prospect shoes, I'd be like, I don't really know if I'd be okay with somebody telling me that. Okay, maybe I should change it. Like some people, here's a great example, and I'll use my part-time job just because it makes sense. So some people will say, like, they'll ask for like a 1-bedroom apartment, okay? And then I give them my budget, and then they say, they give me their budget, and then they say, oh, this apartment's really small. I don't know if I could do this. Like, that's an objection. Well, a lot of my girls will automatically say, well, we could always upgrade you to a 2-bedroom apartment. And my instant thought as a prospect would be like, but then I can't afford it because now my budget's changing. Okay, well, I guess I just can't. I'm sorry. And then they lose the person. So if you go back to like being the prospect and being like, okay, how would that make me feel if someone said, well, I'm sorry this doesn't work for you, but we can totally upgrade you, but that means your budget's going to change. I'd be like, okay, you're not helping me at all. Does that make sense? So writing out the objection and your answer, and then asking yourself, like, how would I feel if I responded in this way? It kind of just helps you stay human, grounded a little bit, and gets you away from like the automatic robotic spiels of like the icky salesperson. Just throwing that out there.
What questions do you guys have? Anything?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I have Frozen playing right next to me, so. Let the objections go!
Hi, Ashton.
She's so cute.
She just said, where's Olaf? I said, Crystal said hi. She goes, where's Olaf? You mean Ollie?
Yeah.
Oh. Oliver's sleeping.
When is he waking up?
When is he waking up?
Yeah.
Not for a while. That's always her question when I say Lily's sleeping. Well, when is she waking up?
10 hours, hopefully.
Well, I have a question for Astrid. Are you pregnant right now? Yay, me too.
I'm very pregnant.
How far along are you?
34 weeks this week. Sorry, I had to think about it.
Yes. Oh my God, we're gonna have September babies.
Yeah, on September 17th.
Oh shoot, I'm the 20th. Who goes first?
Oh my gosh, you guys can go at the same time.
Oh Lord, I'm gonna be texting you like, Astrid, I'm in labor. Are you in labor?
Are you?
Oh my God. Oh, that's awesome.
I'm nervous. Yeah. I think I started following you a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that you were pregnant. I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yes. And I started like finding a bunch of you guys. So I'm really excited. I love seeing everybody's stuff. It's been very inspirational, especially the last trimester.
Girl, I'm saying, oh my God, it's helped me get through so much stuff emotionally, I gotta tell you. What are you having?
Yes, I'm having a boy.
Yes,
So,
me
it's
too.
Both. Yes, I'm so excited. Right, Charlie?
Hi.
Yeah. Hi.
Oh,
I checked the call.
We're super pumped.
That's awesome. Congrats.
She's watching Frozen.
Frozen
Yeah.
2?
Frozen 2. Yep.
Okay, well, if no questions, you guys know where to find us. Team page, ask in there, wherever. You can text me, whatever works. But most of the time, if you have a question, we all have it. Yeah.
It's not working.
Oh no. Such a bummer. Okay, well, thanks for being on and watching the recording. I'm going to stop the recording now.